Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4! And today spawning in on the east side of the map, playing in red, we've got Louis MT playing as the Tughlaq Dynasty. And up against him today spawning in the southwest in blue, we've got Gali Dekol playing as the Holy Roman Empire. Welcome everyone to Gorge. As always, hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon or good evening. The crazy thing, the worker elephant can come out here and get sheep pretty nicely. Anyway, we'll talk about that later because what's really important to talk about is the barracks here for the Holy Roman Empire, going for an early spearman rush, probably looking to deny some gold gathering, which is usually quite a good option on Gorge. It's a map which actually in the early game can be pretty aggressive, but does tend to mellow out in the mid to late game, and usually play out to the flanks where there's plenty of food and resources. Either way, hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome everyone back to the Dynasties of the East DLC, and the Tughlaq Dynasty obviously featuring as part of that DLC. The Holy Roman Empire, we've known them for a very long time, and I'm kind of curious because obviously these two civilizations, I feel anyway, they play very differently. Got the Holy Roman Empire with some really kind of obvious strategies. You've got the feudal age kind of rushing with plenty of resources coming in from the prelate gathering, 35% bonus. And then, but I mean, to be fair, they typically tend to posture towards a castle age, play for the relics, Regnant's Cathedral, still very popular. Sometimes even a fast Imperial age for the Palace of Swabi if they do want to boom away with cheaper villagers and faster producing villagers. The Tughlaq Dynasty, on the other hand, I feel like, of course, they're still being figured out, a very new civilization. And I feel, though, they can be very boomy. It's quite easy for them to get a second town centre, pretty safe and secure. They can be very efficient in terms of the resources they gather. The workers do drop off 5% extra resources, by the way, at the elephant, which the elephant can obviously move around, and body block, as you can see, is pretty hard to actually focus on these villagers, which I believe, because of the hitboxes, it's quite challenging. The other options, of course, is kind of go for a feudal age play with the Tughlaq Dynasty, especially with the Heater elephants, and actually Gali Dekol going to follow this up with an outpost. So yeah, I mean ultimately, this means that the Tughlaq Dynasty is going to need to invest in some feudal age units if he wants to go for castle age anytime soon. If he's going to go for a second town centre play, then this actually doesn't hurt him too much. We'll see what he decides. Maybe this in fact might force his hand into a second town centre play. Either way, hope you guys have been enjoying the new DLC. I know there's been a couple of issues with the Crucible game mode, a couple of issues with the points and perks not saving, which is obviously a very big issue. Hopefully that'll get it sorted out relatively soon. But generally, I feel like the game mode is pretty fun. Let me know if you've been trying it out or just been sticking it out, duking it out in the 1v1 ladder. In fact, actually, I would quite like to know. Like, some people don't actually play the game, which is kind of cool. Like, people tend to just watch the games unfold. Yeah, let me know in the comment section below. But do you actually play Age of Empires 4 or just watch it? Kind of curious to see what kind of the split will be like. Talking of splits, you do have to make a decision between two landmarks to get to the next stage. And curiously, Louis MT's going for the Tower of Victory. In fact, I don't think I've actually seen this landmark for the Tughlaq Dynasty. What it does is it increases the attack speed of elephants by 15%. And kind of weirdly enough, it seems like a very military-based, well, it is a military-based landmark, of course, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be playing aggressively in the early game. The reason for that is, of course, elephants are notoriously expensive to make, and so you need a good economy for it. It's almost like a bonus which works really well for the civilization later on in the game. In terms of a landmark that works for you at any stage of the game, really, is the Archon Chapel for the Holy Roman Empire, going up with 6 villagers, and that's going to be nice to drop the prelate in and boost the gather rate of all these villagers around it. No surprise that it's on wood as well, because it does act off as a drop-off point. Very nice indeed. And with the villagers now on stone here for Louis MT, yeah, certainly looks like it's going to be a second town centre play. Might pick off a villager though. I think gets it. Nice pick off there by the spearman. Louis not really reacting to this. I think he just wants to gather. I mean, he needs enough stone, right? Once you've started gathering, you kind of need to finish it off. So he's going to send more villagers as well to do the same. He needs to micro that villager back. He does. Keeps him alive, or her alive, I think. And second town centre probably going to be placed quite close to home. I wouldn't be surprised to see, by the way, if the town centre is placed on the stone. Could be tricky with the spearmen hanging around here, but it's an option for Louis. The reason why is because you can follow this play up with a Tughlaq fort. Probably one of the most favoured buildings, for me at least, in terms of pronouncing. I love saying it. The Tughlaq Fort, and he can place it down back at home to for safety and protecting his 2-town center economy. Yeah, especially with the wood now coming on in, it certainly looks like a second town center play. The other option is with the Tughlaq Dynasty, you can place the fort first if you're really worried, but I don't think there's going to be too many cases for that. Maybe against the French, civilizations that can really pack a punch early, that haven't gone for an outpost rush and committed to it. And there is that outpost, by the way, with the spearmen inside. Now, unfortunately, Gully Deckle moved away. He could have actually had some value here, so that's unfortunate for him. Possibly was thinking that, I don't know if he would have go for the town center on the gold at any point anyway, considering the outpost there. Either way. Oh, we'll lose a villager there to the walls. That is unfortunate. The Bitey infantry getting the better of him. Pretty sure I lost a villager though. Well, it must have, right? Because there's no way Louis MT killed any villagers. No military units on the field. And Gully Deckle did lose one, as we can see in the statistic down on the bottom left. Right, looks like Gully is thinking about a Castle Age play here now, especially going on to deer. Plenty of food going to be coming through there. Survival techniques as well to increase the gather rate. Now, professional scouts, we're seeing it a lot less now because of the fact that, of course, when the deer are on the scout's back, they start to decay food, so less food comes back home. There's that second town centre, the Tughlaq Dynasty, going to be getting a fort after it as well. I mean, surely, right? Can't be a third town centre. That would actually be wild. I think it's very greedy to do so, especially considering the power spike the HRE get in the Castle Age. I suspect it's going to be a Tughlaq fort. We'll see. They go for a stable as well, maybe get a horseman or two. I'd be surprised by that, actually, because Gully Deckle knows about the second town centre, and so I'd imagine he'd want to go for Fast Castle to pick up those relics. But it could be just, preemptive things, getting things built up and ready for that Castle Age, because I wouldn't be surprised to see some knights out when he does get there. Now, Prelate coming out onto the boar. That's going to give him a lot of food very quickly. And there's that Tughlaq fort in the forward position. What's really nice about this as well is that not only is this a defensive structure, but you can get governors which then also contribute to units defensively. Namely, the governor of Ajmer. Now what this does is it spawns actual units, Emir warriors, 6, 9, 13 depending on your age. And they are pretty powerful, especially when they're around the aura of the Tughlaq fort. Once they move out, they start to lose some stats and just not as effective. But to be honest, you could probably use them, because they're free and they don't take population space. You could probably use them to take down this outpost. It's a nice way to deal with it without having to, get siege. There is the Regnitz Cathedral, going to be built up for the Holy Roman Empire. It's going to be a game now, really, for the Tughlaq Dynasty to try and deny their relic income for Gully Deckle. How effective he'll be at doing that, I'm not so sure. It's a bit tricky, especially when you're going for infantry combinations like this. Obviously, they're notoriously slow on the field. Be hard to get out there. Wonder how many relics the HRE will be able to get here. Torch damage not too bad on these guys. Wait, were the spearmen firing? It felt like almost they weren't. I think they were. There was some HP lost, but hardly any. Yeah, better to just save the spearmen, really. Although they will die quickly to the Ajmer Governor's Emir warriors. Regnitz Cathedral almost built up. It's kind of a curious one, right? Because Louis MT is certainly pulling ahead in terms of economy. Look at the villager lead already. 10 villagers. And it's only 9 minutes into the game. And that's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Obviously, the HRE can minimize that gap a little bit economy-wise by picking up relics. And obviously, the Regnitz Cathedral really helps with that, giving the extra 100% bonus. 100% bonus. Words today. It's first thing in the morning for me. But 100% bonus to gold when the relics garrisoned inside. Right, this one should be able to make it back home, or at least relatively close. Gonna body block, Wallalow. Oh, God. I think he loses it, unfortunately. Pretty close, but he does lose it in the end. But brings it closer to home, at least. I love the usage of the Emir warriors here, just to protect this relic. There's no way this prelate gets it, and he does run away. Just about, well, good for that, because they're not cheap, these prelates. So you do start to see some knights on the field. Now, 2 relics are being brought home by Gully Deckle, so that's already a really good start. But he would love to get a third if he can. Oh, spots it here. He might lose his prelate, probably will, but he's inching closer and closer with each relic. Oh, this knight might need to back away, although they're taking a decent fight, but he would lose to this, so the Emir warriors... Oh, Gully, bring him home, bring him home! Wallalow. Oh wait, I think he gets the Wallalow. Oh, it's going to be close, it's going to be close, it's going to be close. Oh, he gets out of there just in time. Hello, prelate, wake up! Run! Run! Bit delayed there. He managed to body block. Great work there by Gully. That is huge. His prelate on 9 HP. And he's going to be able to get out of there. 2 relics in the bank, though. This is a solid start. Despite all the pressure with these units from Louis MT, Gully has been able to pick up 2 relics so far. And in any case, a lot of the distraction has happened. And because of the focus on the prelates, it means that this boar has been gathered very freely. Another relic down the middle. Oh, looks like it's going to be a 4 relic game. I'm not so sure we'll be able to get the 5th one, but we will see. I mean, ultimately, he does have Castle Age units, right? So, taking fights here, if he wins them, I mean, he should win these fights. Even against the Spearman, the Knight will do well, and the healing from the Prelate too. Yeah, Gully's doing great work here with the fights. The Emir Warriors will buy some time. But there's potential for Gully to get 5 relics out of this. House of Learning coming out with Castle Age for Louis MT. Obviously, that took a bit of steam out of the army production for him. But with a lead that he's established already with the villager count, it is looking solid for Louis. Let's take a look at the income actually as it happens. Bear in mind, it's not just about the villager count. It is important. But the gather rate, 35% from the prelate boosting up from the Arcade Chapel primarily, is a big deal. And the unit numbers are really starting to build up here for Gully. The question for him is, does he go to the Imperial Age? Or does he go for... I mean, the weird thing about the situation in this match is it's kind of very forceful decisions. Kind of very... by the way, Mahoots just came in for House of Learning to make the movement speed of elephants faster. But they're very, very important decisions. Very dynamic ones. Very, like, impactful is the word I'm looking for. The reason why is because, well, Gully needs to make a decision now. Does he go for the Imperial Age or does he go full Castle Age? If he goes full Castle Age, he actually has to win the game pretty much in Castle Age. Because of the fact that Louis MT's economy is so far ahead, Louis is going to be able to overwhelm the HRE in the next 5-10 minutes, unless Gully comes up with an idea of either demolishing the Tughlaq Dynasty or narrowing the economy gap by going for the Imperial Age with the Palace of Swabia. So 2 key options for him really. Imperial Age with Palace of Swabia to catch up on the villager count and the economy, or he just goes crazy with the military rather, and outproduce his enemy and just demolish him in the Castle Age. It looks though it's going to be the Imperial Age play, and possibly with the Palace of Swabia down the south. This could be a nice spot for it. It's got wood, gold, food, and food and gold is really what you want, but this is the 8,000 gold vein he has on his side. It would make a lot of sense here and could form the target for the Tughlaq Dynasty, considering, you know, we want to hit the enemy's economy where it hurts, and this is where a big chunk of the economy might need to start developing for the Holy Roman Empire. Bear in mind, the next age is cheaper for the Palace of Swabia compared to the usual 2,400 food, 1,200 gold. It's actually only just 2,160 food and 1080 gold. Yeah, Palace of Swabia are going to be down the south. We do have to have a conversation about army composition now as well, because we are kind of gearing up to that stage where the Tughlaq Dynasty economy is building up. It's going to be ramping up production. And looks like it's going to be crossbows. I think it makes a lot of sense when you're up against heavily armoured units, against the HRE in this stage. Maybe crossbows into some form of elephants. I mean, you could still go for healer elephants. Wouldn't really necessarily make sense because he doesn't have the Dome of the Faith landmark. So possibly crossbows into war elephants could be an option for him if he can just build up a bit more food. I think he needs a bit more of a sustainable source of food. No real farms yet, so it's still a bit early for the war elephants to be popping out. Could go for some relatively cheaper lancers and heavier movement speed that way. I mean, he did commit to Mahoots, by the way, which is relatively expensive as an upgrade. Because, of course, the Tughlaq Dynasty, they have really quickly producing economy and technologies, but they're expensive. That's the trade-off they have. Yeah, kind of curious. Maybe he had a change of plan, because he did go for Mahoots earlier, but hasn't really made any elephants. Now the HRE now in the Imperial Age, it will be his time to catch up on the villager. They really print out very quickly. And then now, you know, cards have been played. The Tughlaq Dynasty have to make a choice now. Do they look to try and match this, go to Imperial Age themselves, and then attack? Or do they look to try and do some damage in the Castle Age? And I think it makes a lot of sense to do damage in the Castle Age. The reason why is because Imperial Age, even though with the discount with the Palace of Swabia, it's still a relatively expensive upgrade, or tech up really. And it means that you won't expect the HRE to have any units. And so the Tughlaq Dynasty, Louis, is in a prime position to do some damage if he can. I feel like the tech up for the Castle Age to the Imperial Age can often be a bigger one, just because of the sheer amount of resources you go for, especially with the one town centre play where your economy is not phenomenal. It's not terrible either with the prelate, but it's not phenomenal. The Tithe Barn's coming on in, definitely an important upgrade for the 5 relic HRE by the way. Look how much gold is coming in there. Holy moly. Not just gold now either. Getting stone, wood and food. Here comes some raider elephants. Crossbows 2, garrisons in, but there's only 10 slots here. Yeah, good idea to get some outposts. He's going to need them. Yeah, we talked about this earlier in the cast. This is going to be the focal point for attacks. These villagers, there's not enough space. Well, there's a couple of spaces here, but he wants to build it up. He's going to lose a lot of villagers. Sure, they're quick to make from the printer. That is the Palace of Swabia, but this is a great raid here by Louis. It's a lot of damage. Make no mistake about it. And he's got 3 sacred sites, which does help nullify some of the relic gold that's coming in. I'm curious to see at what point does Louis decide to go to Imperial Age. That's often a key decision point for him at this stage. Does he continue to commit? Does he look to go to the next stage? Is he comfortable with the amount of damage he's done? Or does he want to do more? Setting a couple of mere warriors around the middle of the base too, just to distract and cause some havoc. Yeah, great work here by Louis. Denying a lot. Very little military here for Gully. And that's the crazy thing, right? The Imperial Age, it hasn't... he's got elite horsemen, to be fair. So he has got some upgraded units, but just not many of them. And sometimes the numbers just win. Yeah, sniped out 20 villagers. Not only is this a great raid by Louis, behind all of this, he's got such a strong economy. He's got to go to the Imperial Age, and he's got 3 sacred sites, which is actually, of course, a win condition for him. Gully not only has to build up his villager count and match it in the next couple of minutes, well, not, he just needs to get there eventually. But what he does have to do in the next couple of minutes is deny a sacred site. In fact, he's got to do it within 9 minutes and 20 seconds, otherwise he will lose the game. Oh, one other thing I was kind of meaning to ask you guys, by the way. How many of you guys are playing on PlayStation? Because, of course, this new DLC has unlocked the game for PlayStation. I'm kind of curious. I kind of wanted to try it out, but I don't have a PlayStation, so I didn't want to buy one just for that. But I'd love to know people's experiences with it, because it could be pretty fun. Obviously, control is a little bit harder to master with the controller, I imagine. Although, I imagine there's some quality of life features for it. And of course, the UI is a big thing. Be interesting to see. Either way, what's very interesting, it will be the Palace of the Sultan for the Tughlaq Dynasty, which allows them to get a governor and immediately gain the 4th benefactor. So if you're not sure about the... well, something to bear in mind. So the fort improvements here, they go up to level 3. So you've got the Shahi walls, and then you've got the next one afterwards, which I can't quite remember the name off the top of my head. But then the 3rd one is specific to the governor that you have. So the Palace of the Sultan will give you all 3 layers to it. Raid elephants doing exactly what they've been designed to do. Charging on through. They're really good. And I believe these are veteran raider elephants too, yeah. So the attack speed coming in, it's going to make them even better, right? For the raiding, it's going to make them really good. Quite a few hand cannoneers. Not a bad idea when you're going up against elephants. 8 minutes, 20 seconds on the timer. Now Gully is starting to build up the economy. He might be even neck and neck considering the 5 relics on the prelate buffering. Although being overall behind on villagers. The gather rate's starting to really climb. He's got a really good farming economy. And Louis MT is establishing that as well. I love this governor, by the way, for the Tughlaq fort. It's the governor of Bakar. Increases the food being generated around the fort, and obviously it acts as a drop-off as well. Relatively safe way to farm. Yeah, a lot of raider elephants. Looks like raider elephants and crossbows, some mahouts, and also the Tower of Victory. really help out. In fact, you know what? That's the crazy. But I wonder how fast these guys are now, these elephants. 1.76 movement speed. That is speedy. Compare it to a horseman, 1.88. It's not much smaller, but of course a lot heavier. Alright, looks like Gully is making a play for the sacred sites. Louis should get out of here because he should get out here to try and deny this decapping. No reason to level up easily. Yeah, this is an issue for Gully because he needs more army. And he's got... Oh, that elephant's got to go down really quickly. The hand cannoneers absolutely plastered him. Yeah, the thing is that Gully's units are just incredibly strong right now. Lower in numbers, but it's quality, not quantity for him. And so he should be able to decap a sacred site. And he's got to the Imperial Age. But it's waiting on some upgrades, which, by the way, again, they're pretty fast to come on in. I think this is a good thing for the Tughlaq Dynasty. What I love about this two-town center play and economy play is that when you do tech up, we have a saying on the channel, generally, that when you tech up to the next age, you're at your most vulnerable. And that's often because of not only the resources you have to put into the tech up, because it takes time for the researchers to come on in. Now, of course, the civilization which was really prone to that was the Delhi. I know the researchers were free, but it can often take a bit of time to come on in. Now, if you've got a strong economy, actually, the lag time between teching up to the next stage and getting the researchers is relatively minimal for the Tughlaq Dynasty. So I feel like the power spike can be really good as long as you've got a strong economy to pay for them. These guys, they look so good charging on... Oh, Prelate spotted that. Gonna go for a bit of a raid on the left side. Down the middle, needs to secure things. Horseman might charge in otherwise. But good number of spearmen. This is not a great fight for Gully by any means. He's going to suffer. The horseman kind of thrown away there. Yeah, blacksmith upgrades coming in quickly for Louis. Now, both players are pretty much neck and neck in villager count. And I got to say, Gully's economy, like long term, it will be better. No doubt about it. You've got the prelate, you've got the relics. And so all of a sudden, with Gully having been on the back foot in this game for quite a while, and sort of wanting to be the one that's doing damage, it feels like now all of a sudden it's actually the Tughlaq Dynasty that need to do something. Elite Raider Elephants. Going to be running away from these cannoneers. Gully is pretty much in control of the middle map, but the income is so good here for Louis. Look how much food he's getting in. Look how much gold he's getting in still, even without any relics. And the gold will eventually run out. And that's exactly what Gully is looking for. He's looking for the gold villagers. Oh, he runs past them. Oh, it could be quite big here. Quite a few villagers he could take out. Quite a lot of villagers on stone. Looks like he wants to secure up the defences. And then push out with the raider elephants. Horseman charging on through. Pulling the Tughlaq Dynasty's army all sorts of places. This is a decent fight for Louis. I'm not sure about the follow-up, though, because it's a lot of hand cannoneers. He's going to try and get surround and take them out. But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he's got to run away. There's too many. Horseman riding on through as well. Looking good. Spearman will be chasing, but take some time, of course. Going to engage the horseman only, and then back away. We'll lose another elephant. This is looking good for Gully, although in the middle, though, this is going to be a decap. He's finding it hard to build up numbers, though, Gully. Got good quality, but low numbers. 3,000 food coming in here, almost, for the Tughlaq Dynasty. I mean, a lot of it is coming down to this fort as well. Let's see how many villages got on food. 45. He's actually got... How is this happening? What is going on? Why is the food economy so strong for Louis? Is it the upgrades? I guess it's got to be partly the upgrades here. He's got full upgrades on his economy. He does have the Governor Bakar. Surely he's got more villages on food than that. Okay, 50, yeah. But that is an insane amount of food. And this is an insane amount of production. Look how many elephants he's getting. 80 military. Louis is population capped. He can just put pedal to the metal now. His two-town centered economy is really coming into effect. And the numbers now for Gully is struggling. Don't forget as well, the quality of army for Tughlaq Dynasty now is up there. It's in the Imperial Age, of course. So these will be elite elephants. Elite everything, really. Trying to get some upgrades here. Precision crossbreeding, as well as elite army tactics to make the infantry a bit stronger. But these elephants should take a decent... Oh, he's going to charge on through. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I love these elephants. Making sure the infantry can't get away, even with their military marching drills. That's it. I forgot that for a second. Yeah, the marching drills is free for the HRE. Gives them extra movement speed compared to other civilizations' infantry. And the Emir warriors as well. 3 units. Why not? Oh no, this is not looking good for Gully. It's just a sheer number of units. This is crazy. Yep, sure. The emergency repairs can come in, but that's sort of going to buy you some time. There's 2 relics in there as well. Villagers going to scamper away. 3 sacred sites capped by Louis. He's feeling confident. A large army in the front lines. Mostly elephants and crossbows, as well as a couple of hand cannoneers. Add in a couple of the Emir warriors. But this is the thing we're talking about. You can see the -5 there on the UI bottom left. It's because the Emir warriors are away from the Tughlaq forts, but either way, oh, this is not looking good for Gully. He has to find a way to defend himself. He's got a good chunk of army here. Will it be enough, though? I'm not so sure. Because the crossbows will work against the man-at-arms, although there are a lot of man-at-arms. He's got his own hand cannoneers. This is a tricky one. The elephants are focusing on the buildings for now. They're going to charge on through once again. The Stompy boys. But yeah, it just doesn't seem like there's enough here for Gully. He's going to struggle, losing some siege as well. These elephants, they are super tanky. And this is where population efficiency comes into play, right? You're fully maxed out population, but these units are so efficient population-wise. They're tanky, hard to kill. They can charge. They've got the extra attack speed, by the way, for the Tower of Victory. He's going to dive on in. He's got a backline of hand cannoneers as well, and units are just going to keep flooding in. At this point, it's not so much about how much your economy is for Gully. He just needs to get units out somehow. Despite going under 2 outposts with spring emplacements with relics inside, it's kind of crazy that this army is surviving so long. Just shows you how tanky these elephants really are. Look at this. Another flood of units. Tughlaq fort is there. Making sure the any rebound that could potentially happen will be less hard-hitting, but I don't know if there will be one because the elephants are just running riot. Gully Deckel's villager count is still relatively healthy. A lot of the economy is idle, but the problem is he can't build up a massive army. Whereas the army for Louis MT just keeps on trickling on in. Keeps running on in. The elephant's causing all sorts of havoc. I mean, this is crazy. Louis' population has been stuck at 200 and just doesn't fall. He's constantly producing and is banking up resources as well. I think this is just way too much. Gully struggling to hold, struggling to stem the bleeding. And he's 50 supply behind, and well, in the end of the day, that's what matters the most. The army that you have on the field, and Louis MT with a 2-town center Tughlaq Dynasty play seals the deal on Gorge. A fascinating strategic combat. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Take care, and see you next time.